Good morning, everybody, and welcome to The Balancing Act. We're so glad you're here. I'm Julie Moran.
And I'm Olga Villaverde.
Do you or someone you know have RA or rheumatoid arthritis? It is a debilitating and painful condition that affects women twice as much as men. And symptoms include inflammation in the lining of the joints and other internal organs. But today, we've got good information on how to manage the pain.
And switching gears, and I mean really switching gears here. Do you like sauerkraut?
That is the biggest switching gears we've had on this show. Yep, well, there you go. I like it. I got to tell you, I do.
Well, let me tell you something you may not know, and I was surprised to learn that Americans consume nearly, 390 million pounds of sauerkraut each year. I know. That's about a pound and a half for each person.
I like sauerkraut, but that's too much sauerkraut.
That's a lot of sauerkraut. You know what's the funny part?
You're in the kitchen with sauerkraut today. I know that.
And I've never eaten it.
Well, you're going to have a little nip.
Am I going to like it?
Yes, you will. Oh, I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this. The Balancing Act starts right now. Rheumatoid arthritis, also known as RA, is a debilitating and painful condition affecting women more than twice as much as men. An abnormality in the body's immune system, RA symptoms include inflammation in the lining of the joints and other internal organs. With us to discuss what's being done to help RA patients is Dr. Ara Dokranian, an MD and arthritis and rheumatism specialist with San Diego Arthritis Medical Clinic, a single specialty private practice based in Southern California. And coming up later, we'll meet a woman currently coping with RA and learn what medical science is doing to help manage her condition. Good morning, doctor. It is so great to have you here this morning.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here.
What and who is affected by RA, and what are the major symptoms?
Sure. So there's about 3 million Americans that are affected by RA, and about 70% of those affected are women. And we know that RA is an autoimmune condition, which means it's a problem with the immune system that's manifest in the joints. So the first signs that someone might think they have RA can include things like joint pain and stiffness in the hands, the wrists, and the feet. And over time, this can lead on to other joints and cause loss of function or just difficulty with mobility. But because it's a systemic disease, people can also get systemic complaints like fevers, loss of appetite, weight loss sometimes, and just a general fatigue and stiffness in the morning that can last many hours.
You know, it affects women so much more. Why is that?
Yeah, we don't really know, but some of the theories are that some of the genes that make people susceptible to rheumatoid arthritis are found on X chromosomes, which women obviously have 2 copies of. And we know that there's hormonal influences such as estrogen. Pregnancy can play a role sometimes in terms of the onset or the severity of rheumatoid arthritis. And we also have to remember that conditions that are found in women more commonly, like osteoporosis and pregnancy, these play a factor when we're trying to choose medications that are appropriate for the RA patient.
As the disease progresses, do patients typically recognize ongoing symptoms as like the new normal? Is this how I have to feel?
Yes, absolutely. It's quite remarkable how patients adapt to a lot of the difficulties that they face. And it's actually quite motivating to see patients with challenges like pain and difficulty moving their joints and stiffness adapt and sort of find that new normal. So it's encouraging that we now have therapies to help patients with this and improve function in a lot of cases, in cases where patients have had physical impairment from their symptoms.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Why is RA worse in the morning?
Yeah, it's not really clear, but it seems to follow a circadian pattern or a daily pattern. And we know that certain types of mediators of inflammation are found more commonly in the very early morning hours. And therefore, so patients trying to sort of wake up in the morning and get their day going find it pretty challenging, especially in women. Now, we have to really remember that women are trying to get ready going to work, trying to get the kids off to school sometimes, and in the early morning hours when they're having stiffness and pain, it becomes quite a challenge. So again, some of these symptoms that are more predominant in the morning have various therapies that we can offer and generally help with that stiffness and pain in the morning.
That's good to know. Doctor, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, we'll find out how patients are coping and what can be done to manage the symptoms. We'll also meet a woman with RA, and she's here to share her story, so don't go away. There's so much more coming up on The Balancing Act. We're back, and we've been talking with Dr. Ara Dekranian, an MD and arthritis and rheumatism specialist from San Diego. And joining us now, here to share some of her medical story, is Jennifer, a patient coping with rheumatoid arthritis. And welcome, Jennifer. Doctor, we're so glad that you're here with us today. And Jennifer, before I share your story, I want to turn to the doctor again, and I want to ask, Doctor, how do you really treat RA?
So RA has many different treatment options available now. We have old and new medications, targeted and general medications, all of which help to reduce the signs and symptoms of RA. And among these various options is prednisone, which is particularly useful for reducing inflammation in rheumatoid arthritis. And the particular type of prednisone that I like to use in my practice is Rheos,
okay,
which is a delayed release prednisone. Rheos is it's approved to treat as an immunosuppressive or anti-inflammatory agent, and it has a broad range of indications among various disorders, including rheumatologic conditions like rheumatoid arthritis.
Great. Jennifer, I know you were recently married. Congratulations, by the way. That's so exciting. But some things, at least in your life, socially, were being affected by your condition. Your family and your friends noticed things. Tell us what was happening with you.
So I found myself very fatigued. I was just tired all the time. And then I had this pain in my hands and fingers and wrists that would just kind of come and go. And I would end up having to cancel plans with people because I was either too tired or I was in too much pain. I just didn't feel well overall.
Did any other parts of your body hurt?
Yeah, I had depending on how bad my symptoms get, when I flare, my hands and wrists again are involved, and my feet and ankles, and at one point my knees were so swollen I couldn't even walk up a flight of stairs at home.
Wow. What are you doing currently to combat these symptoms?
So currently I have 3 medications that I take every day, one of which is Rheos. I also have a medication that I inject every couple of weeks, and then I have pain medications as I need them.
Wow, you seem so young, Doctor. Is Jennifer typical of some of your patients that you treat?
So Jennifer's actually a little bit younger than the typical patient. Usually it's middle ages is when rheumatoid arthritis has its peak prevalence, but she provides a great example of someone whose rheumatoid arthritis is relatively early in its stages and may be more amenable to various treatment options in that scenario.
Doctor, side effects to certain types of medication can be a patient-doctor issue, and talk about how that could relate to dealing with RA.
Of course, yeah. We always have to balance the efficacy of any therapy with potential side effects, and particularly as it relates to Rheos, we have to consider that Rheos being a type of prednisone shouldn't be taken, for example, in people with allergies to prednisone. We also have to remember that Rheos can increase the susceptibility to infections, or it can worsen existing infections. It can also affect various hormones in the way the body responds to stress. It can cause eye problems such as glaucoma. It can cause slow growth in children. It can also cause fluid retention, mood and behavior changes, increased appetite and weight gain. It can also reduce the bone density, and especially in postmenopausal women, we have to be careful about that. And we also have to be careful in people with certain gastric and intestinal disorders who are at risk for perforations. So all of these need to be discussed, and the risk-benefit ratio always needs to be modified. And what we always aim to do is to reduce the dose of Rheos to as low as possible to help mitigate some of these effects. So obviously the side effects here are not a comprehensive list, and we always encourage patients to talk to their physicians or visit the Rheos website if they want a more complete list of information about safety.
Sure. Jennifer, are you seeing and feeling improvement?
Definitely. I have more energy, so my fatigue is better managed, and my morning stiffness is definitely decreased. I still have good days and bad days, so it's not, I don't think you're ever a fix-all with the RA. It's just balancing your life and the disease and going based off how you feel.
So, Doctor, before you leave us, any closing thoughts?
Certainly. For people that suspect they might have rheumatoid arthritis but yet aren't diagnosed, important to engage with physicians in order to get a proper diagnosis. And for those who have RA, is really to understand that their symptoms can be minimized with various treatment options out there. Rheos is one of those considerations of a medicine that can be used, and patients should get in touch with their doctor to discuss those options.
Great information. Thank you so much for coming, both of you. And if you'd like to learn more about RA and medical advances, simply visit us at thebalancingact.com or share with us anything related to the topic of RA by logging on to Facebook/The Balancing Act Fans.
When you think of bacteria and food, you think potential problem, right? Well, there is good bacteria as well, and it can be beneficial to our digestive systems. Back to discuss molecular marvels or the benefits of good bacteria in our food is John Gray, a cook, chairman, and CEO of Bubby's of San Francisco, makers of naturally fermented foods available in fine retail and grocery stores from coast to coast. Good morning.
So nice to see you again.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Okay, so I got to tell you, in my house, the pickles, success.
Thank you.
Sauerkraut, success.
Awesome.
You're 2 for 2, so I'm expecting 3 for 3, okay?
You got it. You got it. And we should do that today.
There you go. Now, first I want a quick food chemistry lesson, okay? I want to know, what is fermentation and how is it and good bacteria linked together?
Well, fermentation is actually a natural biological process where bacteria creates enzymes in foods that help not only change the flavor and we think improve it, but it also is, it's the oldest preservation process in the world. The enzymes in the fermentation process actually break down the proteins and the carbohydrates in food, making them easier to digest.
And taste good as well,
And
right?
taste great.
And speaking of tasting good, you have a beautiful spread for me this morning. Let's start with that. Tell me, is that mozzarella?
It's a mozzarella.
One more time. Say that again for me. One more time.
Mozzarella.
Oh my gosh, a man after my heart. All right, tell me what's there.
Well, basil, mozzarella cheese, and our pickled green tomatoes, sliced thin with a little balsamic on top. Mwah.
And just the pickled green tomato just adds a little razzle-dazzle.
It really does. It picks it up and gives you that good fermented food that you want in your digestion. Easy to add, easy to do, and it looks great.
Ooh la la. Okay, I am not an egg salad girl, okay? That being said, this looks good because you've got a hint of relish in it, which I think makes a big difference. Tell me what you got there.
It really makes it pop. It's just chopped eggs, a little mayonnaise, and some of our Bubby's relish. It's the only dill relish on the market as far as I know. There's no sugar in there, just good fermented pickles, all natural, good for you.
And that's what I think I would like on it, because since I do love, hello, relish, and that's the one out there, dill relish, I think that would give it a nice little zing that I need in my egg salad.
It really does, and the flavor, it makes the flavors just pop.
Great idea. Okay, now did you know, here's some trivia. May is National Barbecue, Hamburger, and Salad Month.
As it should be.
All right, and he's funny. And speaking of salads, this is my favorite, tuna salad. But this has a twist. Tell me what you have.
Well, this is a wonderful tuna salad made with our bread and butter chips. And our bread and butter chips are awesome. If you've
Just the sound of it.
People eat them right out of the jar. When we first got them, just to taste them the first time, we ate the whole jar. Just sat down and ate the whole jar. But I want to have a little tribute to my wife, my late wife, if I could. Kathy is no longer with us. She had Alzheimer's and died in 2011.
I'm sorry.
But she made tuna salad that was always a hit in our house. And the way she did it was take a can of tuna, a little mayo, and add some green onions, some beautiful red cabbage for color and crunch. You bet. Got
I need that
crunch in there.
I like that.
And, of course, our dill relish rather than the sweet.
See, another little zing.
Right, and it gives it that zing, it gives it that crunch, and it looks beautiful.
Easy to make, and you got the kids eating tuna and dill relish at the same time.
That's exactly right.
Which is not easy to do.
Yeah, and it looks great, I think.
Tell me other products that you have besides the dill relish.
Well, for our summer season, our pickled green tomatoes are sliced thin, just like this, on a salad or on a hamburger. The dill pickles, of course,
Forget it. That's
everywhere.
Mine.
Everywhere.
Whole. Eat it.
You bet. Our sauerkraut, which is awesome. It's the only one without vinegar in it. It's one of the very few for sure. And it's crunchy, tastes great on a hot dog, to die for. And then of course our dill relish. Hot dogs, salads, anywhere.
I love when you come. Are you gonna come back?
If you'll have me.
I will always have you in my kitchen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. And to Kathy?
To Kathy.
We'll remember her. Thank you
A great
so much.
woman.
I'm sure she was. You married her and the mother of your children.
That's right.
God bless her. Thank you, sir. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
And to learn more about these delicious recipes and dill relish, just go to their website. It's bubbies.com. That's bubbies.com. Also visit us at thebalancingact.com and go social too on Facebook at /The Balancing Act Fans.
There is so much good information on today's show, and I want you to be sure to check out our website, thebalancingact.com, as well. There's lots more there for you.
And don't forget about Facebook and Twitter. Look us up there, and we're going to see you again hopefully very soon.
Yes.
And remember to find your balance.
So long, everybody.